A Man City loanee has just left Celtic after barely playing, a potential new manager candidate has been named, and Martin O'Neill has revealed the shock details of his talks with Dermot Desmond. Plus, the interim boss addresses his own future, and Scott Brown opens up about Paul Tisdale's surprising role at the club. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Jarmai Simpson-Pusey's Celtic loan is over almost as soon as it began, with the Manchester City defender now heading to Germany's top flight. The 20-year-old arrived in Glasgow in August 2025 on a season-long loan, clearly intended to accelerate his development. Instead, questions were raised, with only one senior appearance to his name. That came against Kilmarnock, where Simpson-Pusey was deployed at right-back by Martin O'Neill, lasting 64 minutes before being taken off. It was a low-key debut and, ultimately, his only involvement with the first team. Beyond that, his Celtic involvement was limited to a single Celtic B appearance in October. He featured in the Challenge Cup defeat to East Fife, a penalty shootout loss that did little to advance his standing or momentum. Manchester City officially confirmed that Simpson-Pusey will continue his development in Germany. FC Köln have secured him on loan with a reported £10 million buy option included in the deal, alongside a buyback clause that would allow City to retain long-term control if the move becomes permanent. The structure of that deal underlines how highly City rate the player. Clubs do not attach figures like that or buyback protections unless they see genuine upside, which is why this spell at Celtic raises awkward questions. From the outside, it appears to be another failed loan. There was little benefit on the pitch and no lasting impression left behind. For the player, it is a reminder that coming to Celtic only works if there is a clear pathway and genuine belief from the manager or managers. Now for the main story, as it's been a hectic few days with Wilfried Nancy's dismissal and Martin O'Neill's return to the club until the end of the season. Speculation on who the next permanent manager is already underway, with Stephen McGowan highlighting one name specifically. With O'Neill seeing the possibility of staying on as permanent boss beyond this season as unlikely, it's down to the Celtic hierarchy to ensure they make the right decision for the long-term benefit of the club. There is plenty of football to be played before then, with the Hoops in the thick of a title race. They're 6 points behind league leaders Hearts and just lost the Glasgow derby at Celtic Park. Journalist Stephen McGowan was asked who he thinks the Hoops will hire permanently in the summer. Speaking on the BBC's Scottish Football podcast, he said, "I don't see how anybody could make a prediction on that. Who saw Paul Tisdale coming in? Who saw Wilfried Nancy coming in? The point is that Celtic have made some catastrophically bad decisions in short order. For 28 years, they were a club who were quite good at putting up the appearance of being a well-run football club financially. They were winning trophies. In this ridiculously short space of time, they've dropped the ball spectacularly. The people who made those decisions are still very much in the building, so it's on them now to get this right. Would Craig Bellamy, for example, be available after the World Cup finals? At least they've got time to think now, time to plan, and time to see if some better candidates than Wilfried Nancy come up in the summer market. Bellamy played under Martin O'Neill at Celtic. A brief loan spell in Glasgow saw him win the Scottish Cup, with the pair having a good relationship. He took over as Wales boss in 2024 and has guided them to the World Cup qualifiers, where they will face Bosnia and Herzegovina and then either Italy or Northern Ireland for a place in the tournament in North America this summer. It's Bellamy's first managerial job, where he has been praised for his coaching methods and for getting the best out of his players. The Wales FA chief executive hopes Genius Bellamy will stay with the national team beyond the summer. McGowan is correct in saying that all responsibility is on the Celtic board to get the next managerial appointment right. There are no excuses, especially given that they have until the end of the season to prepare and identify a suitable candidate. In other news, Martin O'Neill has explained how discussions with Dermot Desmond led to his return as Celtic manager until the end of the season, revealing the familiar doubts and motivations behind another call back to the club. The timing came during a difficult spell, with results slipping and pressure building quickly around the team. The circumstances, while dramatic, were not entirely new to O'Neill, who has stepped in before when Celtic needed calm and direction. This latest return follows a period of instability that once again required an experienced hand to steady matters. There has been strong focus on why O'Neill agreed to come back, especially given his age and the intensity that comes with the role. The decision was shaped as much by loyalty as by belief that he could still make an impact. He said very similar circumstances again. Obviously, the results just recently for the football club haven't been great, but even so, it was still a bit of a shock. I think a bit of both. I've been there before, and the question is, can you come back and resurrect it again? It's the same sort of thought process, really, and concern about whether you can win football matches. Mind you, I've had that concern for about 30 or 40 years now. It's very, very difficult to say no to the man who put me in charge way back 25 years ago. From that viewpoint, yes. You mentioned hesitation, and the hesitation is always about whether you can come back and win some games. That will always be the case. O'Neill's comments show that familiarity with the job does not remove doubt, but instead sharpens it. Even with past success, the challenge of delivering wins remains central to every decision. His reference to Desmond highlights the personal trust built over decades, which still carries weight when Celtic reach moments of difficulty. That relationship continues to influence key moments in the club's modern history. At the same time, O'Neill made clear that sentiment alone is never enough to justify returning. The core question is unchanged, and it is one that has followed him throughout his career. As Celtic move forward through the second half of the season, O'Neill's focus remains narrow and practical. The task is not about legacy or reflection, but about winning matches and seeing if history can repeat itself once more. In other news, Martin O'Neill has spoken openly about his future at Celtic beyond the end of the season, offering a clear and honest view of where his focus lies after returning to the club once again. His comments came during a radio interview at a time when Celtic are searching for stability following a turbulent period on and off the pitch. O'Neill is back in the dugout until the summer after being asked to steady the club for a second time this season, with the priority firmly on results rather than long-term planning. The veteran manager has already made clear that the current task is demanding enough without looking too far ahead. There remains strong interest among supporters and pundits about whether this latest return could extend into something more permanent if results improve. The backdrop includes a tight title race, pressure from rivals, and a board that will soon need to decide on the club's long-term direction. During an interview on TalkSport, journalist Jim White put that question directly to O'Neill, asking him, "You're only here until the end of the season, but if it all goes well, could this go further?" The response offered insight into O'Neill's mindset and his view of the demands that still come with managing Celtic. He said, "I genuinely can't see that. I don't know if I would have the energy for it. I'll put everything into these next couple of months. And if I don't win football matches, I'll be under pressure straight away, starting this weekend." Lastly, Scott Brown's account of how Celtic's cooperation deal with Ayr United was agreed offers fresh insight into Paul Tisdale's role at the club before his recent exit. The former Celtic captain's comments shine a light on Tisdale's involvement away from first-team headlines during a period now being re-examined. Tisdale left Celtic earlier this week as part of a wider shake-up, with his time at the club drawing strong reactions from supporters. While much of the focus has been on recruitment and managerial appointments, Brown's comments highlight another side of his work. That's all for today's Celtic news. What do you think about Craig Bellamy as a potential manager? And should Martin O'Neill consider staying on if results improve? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more daily Celtic updates. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.